Hi, my name is Awilda Jimenez. I'm the virtual content specialist teacher from PS 386. I've created this teacher-facing video in partnership with Maria Friedland from the Division of Multilingual Learners. This teacher-facing video focuses on the introduction portion of the Grade 4 Unit 3 Day 18 lesson entitled The Start of the Revolution. Our focus question is what events led to the war with Great Britain? And our lesson objective is to explore a variety of sources in order to explain how the Battle of Lexington and Concord became the official start of the American Revolution. Some scaffolds that you're going to see today are providing access to vocabulary and building background knowledge. Okay, so in the introduction, we want students to understand the difference between protests and revolution. Now, here in the introduction, it asks students to think about the difference between a protest and a revolution and how you think protests and revolutions are similar. So they're using a Venn diagram to compare and contrast the terms, which are here. Now, if you're thinking about an introduction, if you're if you're collaborating on an online platform, this could be done on Pear Deck when you assign this slide and then have students just log in while they're waiting for you to type in what they think. It could be assigned on Google Classroom on a Google Doc. And the same idea, everyone has access to the doc. And while you're waiting, you're taking attendance or whatever you're doing to get to prepare, the students log in and answer the questions. For our multilingual learners and English language learners, they may have a lot of ideas about what protests mean because it's a term that has shown up in a few of our prior lessons. But maybe not revolution. So you might provide a slide like this, and I've already referenced where all the images came from. So we can ask students in partnerships or in small groups before they type in their responses to analyze images 1 and 2, which are examples of protests that have happened within the last year or so. And then here, the word revolution, right? The suffix tion, students should have familiarity with. It means the act of, right? Or the action of. And then if we're thinking about revolution, students might make a connection to the word revolve. So those are some ways to access the word revolution. And then here are some images of revolutions they may have seen in social studies and other grades. And they can look at these images to think about similarities and differences. That way they can participate in the activity. You might want to further the understanding of protest and revolution by using word maps. So this is a Pear Deck interactive activity that, again, students can collaborate as a whole class or in small groups, where here's the word protest, and here I'm providing some words that students may have seen before that are related to the word protest. So demonstration, march, rally, complaints. Students are invited to add words or phrases that remind them of the word protest. If sketching is something that helps students participate, they might want to sketch something very quickly on here. And then the same thing with revolution, right? So these words are associated with revolution, revolt, insurrection, anarchy, insurgents, rebellion. And again, students can add other words that remind them of revolution. So again, this activity is for the purposes of building vocabulary and helping students think about the similarities and differences between protest and revolution, which is something that they're going to need to have an understanding of during the independent practice. If you're not doing the word associations activity, the activity provided requires students to read the definition, or the teacher can read the definition of both, and then reflect on the meanings of the words and how it compares to their original ideas of what protest and revolution means. Finally, for independent practice, students will have to watch this 4.5-minute video and then summarize the events of the video. I highly recommend that for our multilingual learners and English language learners, the video they are given access to the video before the lesson. And I've included some stopping points because there's a lot of information in the video. The images are very detailed and great, and are supportive to giving students access to the content. You could choose to assign these questions on the slide just to have students prepare for the independent practice portion, and when they are discussing what they understood from the video. So I've suggested 3 stopping points, and here are some questions that you could decide to assign. Students don't have to answer all the questions, but the questions do help them synthesize the information that they are learning at each stopping point, and grow ideas about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Thank you.